Playing World of Tanks isn't all a walk in the park, but overall it's easy to play the game. So why should setting everything up be difficult? Today I'm going to demonstrate that it's not problematic at all. In fact, it's actually quite simple. Casual gamers like myself shouldn't be deterred from a game based on the difficulty of the setup process. In this video we will learn how to create an account, download the game, basic garage functions, which you'll learn about later, buying, selling, and research tanks, and most of all, battle in real time with other players. Let this video guide be a light at the end of the tunnel if you decide to take up the challenge to become the ultimate tanker. Wait, what? Alright, so the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is create an account. Alright, so the first step in creating an account is to go to the World of Tanks website. I have loaded up here. Next, click Create Account. Here are spaces to put in an email address, choose an in-game name that other players will be able to see, choose a password to log in, and then confirm the password, accept the terms and conditions, and you're good to go. That's it for logging into the game. For creating an account, I mean. Now, downloading the game is a slightly bit of another story. See, there's a few options and things you need to look at when downloading it. You need to choose whether you're downloading it on a Microsoft or a PC or a Mac. After you've decided that, take a look at what system requirements you need to run the actual game itself, and then compare that to those of the computer the game is going to be run on. Now, there's two versions of the game you can run. There's a more graphically intensive game, and then there's a less graphically intensive version. Now, my computer is a HP Pavilion laptop. It can run the less graphically intensive version just fine without too many problems. So I recommend that version because of the lower download size. Alright, so now that the game is downloaded, well, what next? Alright, so as soon as you log into the game brings you to your garage. This is the garage. It's the hub of the game. It's where tanks are researched, bought, and sold. Now, tanks are researched using experience, which is found here. They're easiest to research using the tech tree. Now, each nation has its own branch of tanks. The nations are USA, Germany, Great Britain, the USSR, France, Czechoslovakia, Japan, China, and most recently Sweden. To research a tank, click Research, and it'll let you research parts of the tank, as well as additional tanks in their entirety. You can also purchase tanks through the tech tree or through the armory. Now, the garage can do a lot of other things, such as load ammunition. In this case, you would click Service, and it gives you a selection of ammunition and consumables that you can load onto your tank. Consumables can do anything from repair parts of the tank to heal a crew member or put out fires. The carousel view gives you a view of every tank that you have down here. You can search for players using either your contact list or the player search. Manage crew members over here to the left. Check your notifications down at the right. Now I'm going to show you how to play in an actual battle. To battle, make sure your tank is as equipped as you want it to be, and click Battle. From here it's going to bring up a queue, which shows you what tanks are actually trying to play right now, and sometimes it just takes you right into a battle like it just did. Now, things to look out for. Sometimes they give you little bits of advice down here, but you also want to make sure of what tanks are on your team, what tanks are on the opposing team. Also what map you're on, and what battle mode it actually is. There are many maps, all of them having their strengths and weaknesses. Some of them people don't like to play, some they do. Most are alright. Now here you're brought into a battle. There's a timer up. You move with the WASD keys to navigate the tank. The mouse is moved to move your turret and to shoot. And use the scroll wheel on the mouse to zoom in into sniper mode. Again, things to look out for: the battle mode. The battle mode currently is an encounter battle, meaning that you have to capture a base in order to win. Or you could also destroy all enemy vehicles. The standard battle mode is just a map with two bases on it, one for your team, one for the enemy team. Keep an eye on the dispersion of tanks on the map, such as how many tanks are going into the town, which is the way I'm going, how many tanks are going into the field, which is farther down here. The map tells you lots of things, like what sort of tank is in what place, how many tanks are there, how far your tank can see based on these circles here. The counter at the top of the screen with the green and red markings on it tells you how many tanks and of what type are left on each side of the game. Some other things you need to look out for. How much your tank is capable of. That's certainly a big one. If you don't know what your tank is capable of, then how are you able to verse an enemy effectively? I'm probably about to die here, unfortunately. See, this is a good example of what not to do. This tank really doesn't have a lot of armor, meaning that it can't take a lot of hits. So it looks like we are not winning. We are losing 1 kill to 7 kills. At which point I'm going to turn around and go back to the base because, no, not to the base, back to our spawn point, which is where our tanks originated from originally in the game, when the game started, which is where the opposing team is now charging, because our tanks in the field were all killed. As you can see, there's lots of things to look out for in a battle. It's hard to keep track of them all at first, but eventually, and through playing the game, you learn to keep an eye on things. I'm currently using a medium tank. Yep, there we go. They overran us. After your vehicle is destroyed, or if your vehicle is destroyed, after the battle, it brings up a page of your battle results, depending on how well you did. It brings up what tanks you damaged and how you damaged them, how much credit you earned here, how many experience points you earned here, any missions you completed. It shows you what tank you used, what map and battle mode you were on. Here's a mode that shows you how well your team did versus the enemy team. Here's experience points, vehicles destroyed, damage done. The detailed report goes into detail on what things you did, such as blocking damage using your armor, spotting enemy vehicles, destroying enemy vehicles, and how far your tank actually went in the battle. This here tells you how many credits you lost, how many credits versus how many credits you made, and how much experience and free experience you made. Alright, so now to put things into a little perspective, I'm going to show you how to play an artillery. Artillery are much different than light, medium, or heavy tanks, or even tank destroyers, because of how they fire. The gun fires in an arc over top of the rest of the map. You're in school, you know what a parabola is. That's how they shoot. The gun points into the air, the shot goes up to 1 kilometer away. This game uses metric units, and it hits the tank at a greatly increased angle than what a normal tank would fire at. Also, artillery are sometimes a lot slower than light, medium, or heavy tanks. But the main feature that sets them apart from all the others is how they fire. Also how long their reloads are, because of the higher shell caliber. As you can see, the gun is quite large. I'm going to assume position at the back of the map because it really doesn't matter how close I am to a tank to hit it. Sometimes, the closer I am to a tank, the more difficult it is to hit. Alright, so now that I'm set up, I'm going to show how you go into sniper mode. Now, in a regular tank, you would use the scroll wheel. The scroll wheel on this one only zooms it in about this much. By hitting the shift key, it gives you a bird's eye view of the map. Using the control key and the right mouse button, you can quickly switch to a sector. Now, as you can see, I'm given a bird's eye view of the entire map. The dots here indicate my shell dispersion, meaning how far my shell will land from the target. Obviously, the longer I wait, the better accuracy my tank is going to have. There's a lot of things, like the dots, they tell you how the terrain moves, like if there's an object in the way, or if there's a hill, or if there's a tank sitting there, where it's going to hit on the tank. That's just a quick guide to artillery. As any casual gamer like myself would be able to tell, this game is not difficult to set up. A username here, an email there, and you're done. The most difficult part lies in playing in real battles with other players. The real question is, will you become the ultimate tanker? That's all for today. Good luck on the battlefield.